To Living by Oak Values, the show where we break down the values that make us better men, better leaders, and better humans. I'm Gary, Superior Mailman. Here at Living by Oak Values, we are real, raw, ready to rebuild. Let's dive in and make this one unforgettable.
And I'm Rob, and today we're digging into the value that just isn't earned. It's pretty foundational. Starting off with the question, have you ever asked your kids to clean the room and they ask you like, where are my socks?
Yeah, I
We're
get that.
setting the theme.
Sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Finish up.
We're setting the theme for responsibility. It's not about chores, but it's a true life lesson.
It is. So yeah, I do get that question all the time. Have you seen my socks? Have you seen my shoes?
Yeah.
I will have there many mornings where she'll come downstairs wearing my socks because all of her
Mhm.
socks are dirty and lost under the bed. But anyway, so Rob, I was reading this article. It said that kids that take on responsibility early tend to show higher confidence and emotional regulation. I guess that's because responsibility teaches ownership, discipline, and maybe self trust. I guess. What are your thoughts?
That's hmm, that's pretty interesting. Um, yeah, I I wonder if it's teaching them earlier or they're just wanting to do it though.
I think either way, it's going to teach or bring on ownership and discipline and self trust. So real quick, I just want to step back to when we've talked before in the past on other podcasts about how I forget what the value was, but when I was living with my parents, I lived under their discipline or their rules. Then I joined the
Hmm.
military and I lived under their rules. So I never had my own set of rules. Then I got married and I was a nice guy and I lived by my wife's rules. When we got divorced, I had to pay the bills, my own bills. I had to buy groceries and pay rent. And I feel like, granted, I was 40 at that point, but when I took on those responsibilities, I did feel like I was in charge. I was owning my life. I felt like I had discipline. Self trust came later. I didn't trust that I was doing it properly until I realized that I was. So
So, are you saying that we should teach our kids to own their own stuff? Um, for ex but let me stop us here. Whether you've been with us now or you're just now tuning in, we have a PDF for all the dads out there. And if you know a dad, share it with them. Go to our website, northmancoaching.com. It's called the Next Level Packet. All you do is have to put in your name and email address, and it sends you a PDF, a beautiful slide that me and Gary went through and did a bunch of stuff talking about how dads become next level with their kids.
and even if you think you are next level, this might bring you to the next level.
Yes, yes. There's lots of stuff to do, little activities to, and good questions in this
Yeah,
booklet, pamphlet. But
absolutely. Back to your question, Rob.
back to the question though, is when did you truly feel like you were responsible for something that mattered?
When did you start asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you that. Yeah.
When did
Like
I
what did
truly feel like I was responsible for something that mattered? I was so first time ever. I'm going to tell you that it was probably elementary school. My mom worked the morning shift, and my dad worked the night shift. So there was a period from like 5 a.m. till 8 a.m. I guess I'd say. I don't. Those times are probably not 100% accurate, but each of my brother and my sisters, we were all responsible for ourselves for getting out of bed, getting fed, getting dressed, brushing our teeth, and getting to school. And we walked. So we didn't take a bus. We all walked. And we all went to different schools because of our age differences. So we all had once we kind of helped worked as a team. I think I recall, but then we had to get out the door on time to walk to school. And after that, I would say so after school, I would say the biggest thing was probably my first job as a paper boy, where I had to
Mm.
deliver the newspaper. And it's not like I could do it today and not tomorrow. I had to do it every day, 7 days a week. So it was definitely a responsibility.
Gotcha. Was your dad teaching you responsibility? How was he involved?
In which part? Getting to school or the paper boy thing?
Either one. I mean, because the paperboy thing was your responsibility, though, was it not?
It was. I would say that getting to school, no. I would say that I just know that if we didn't get there in time or dressed or whatever, that we would be in trouble. And I wanted to avoid that at all costs.
Mm.
Paper boy job, absolutely he was there. I think that he got the well, I'm sure the statute of limitations is over with now, but he stole me the shopping cart I had to wheel around with my newspapers in it. He took me to the uh, the paper office, wherever it was that they had to, where we had to pay the money every week that we made or what we owed, and get a portion of the Sunday paper to put together. So he was definitely uh, there to help me in those moments.
Speaking of how your dad wouldn't, like, you would get in trouble for not getting ready for school.
Yeah,
I was the kid, I was ready for school. I was a kid, I got up, I made my own breakfast, and that's how I became pretty good at making omelets in the morning. I would make myself these beautiful omelets every morning, and as soon as my dad came in, he ate half of it, and it would frustrate me. But but on the other side of the coin, my brother was a night owl, and he would not get up in the morning. He would sleep up until my mom is like, "We gotta go to the car." My brother would get up, run to the car, and go back to sleep. The 30-minute drive to school.
nice.
Come to find out, he left his shoes at home. And it's not just once, it's not twice. This is like multiple times over. It was ever since third grade. So yeah, for many, many years, all the way up into high school.
Wow.
He would be running and going, getting to sleep in the car, forget his shoes, and my dad, who just got off a night shift, would have to pick up his shoes and drive him out to the school and drive him back. And it was like they didn't teach us that, or they didn't teach us that responsibility early on in our lives. So
Gotcha. He was going to school like
they
Fred Flintstone, no shoes
yeah.
on. Awesome.
I would get so mad at my brother because he would let his alarm clock go off in the morning. And it was like I would wake up to his alarm clock going off before mine went off. And it was just like, "Ah!" So, yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, I want to touch real quick on that, on you making your omelet. So
Hmm.
I was telling you this weekend that Amity was trying to make a fried egg.
Yes.
Yes, and she kept failing, but or not failing, but not doing it perfectly. So I pulled all the eggs out of the fridge. I said they're cheaper now than they were, 2 months ago. I said, have at it. Don't stop till you get it right. And she's like, but Dad, that's a waste. I said, that's how I learned. I remember working at the Ritz-Carlton, and there they sold the eggs were very expensive for breakfast, and they had to be perfect. So I had
Mm,
all the eggs in the world pretty much, and I didn't stop until I got it right. She
gotcha.
did. She finally ended it pretty decently. But today she sent me a message with a picture that she made an egg at her mother's house, and it was perfect. So
Wow. Good
I'm
job.
really glad that she got to waste all my eggs to go and make one perfect egg at her mom's house. But whatever. Anyway, that's it.
I wonder if that's why she's asking for a knife. Anyways.
I didn't even think of that. That's good.
Uh, so there's a joke. It's like, what happens when nobody takes responsibility? And it says, ask the goldfish. Oh, wait, nobody fed him. Yeah, it
He's
took a
floating at
while
the
for
top.
me to. Yeah, it does take a while to get kids to feed the pets. That's for sure.
It
They
does
take.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Amity had a frog, and we had to. We I need to stop saying we because I fed that thing all the time. I mean, I remember going
Yes.
days where I'd be checking on it. I'm like, "Did you feed the frog?" "Oh, I forgot." She'd forget for 5 days straight. I'm like, "Wow, that poor frog." Anyway, so
Yeah.
Rob, is there a time that you've ever felt tempted, speaking of feeding the frog or animals, that you felt tempted to rescue your daughter instead of letting them learn?
Yes. It wasn't until I did this work, though, that I realized that kids need this time to learn that they need to fail because otherwise they're not going to pick themselves back up. Um,
Hmm.
I used to be the parent that was always like, as soon as the teacher sent something out, I was like, "Did you do the homework? Did you do the homework? Did you get your homework done?" Because I was a kid, I did my homework at school because I wanted to come home and play.
Right.
But my daughter is not that same way. And so, me being overbearing and constantly asking about her assignments didn't allow her to fail and take responsibility for her assignments herself.
Mm.
And I had
Okay.
to learn that is like, stop, Robert. Don't constantly ask, did she do her homework? Because that's her responsibility.
Okay. So on that note, I just had to start asking my daughter if she has homework.
Mm,
And when I was a kid, I would intentionally forget homework because I didn't want to do it.
mm,
And the consequences didn't really matter to me. I didn't care. I didn't want to do homework. So I assume when I ask my daughter if she's got homework, and she says no, she doesn't. That's the truth. She has honestly, not that I'm aware of, ever really truly lied to me. So I
mm.
take it at, for what it's worth. I have no homework. Okay. Turns out she forgets. And I don't think she's lying. She's truly forgetting. Like I have to say,
Yeah.
you have homework. The answer is no. I have to say, okay, open up your computer and let me see. And that's the hard thing because
Mm,
so between you, me, and everyone listening, I don't know what I'm looking for when that computer opens. I just know that if I say open the computer, that she's like, oh boy, I'm in trouble. So I don't even know. She could have no homework. I'm like, okay. I have to act like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But
yeah.
but as far as helping her versus rescuing her, she just started a month, 2 months ago, maybe this aerial silks. So it's like a circus thing she does where she uses the silks uh, and does like flips and potentially does flips and climbs up these things when she's strong enough and knows what she's doing. She did not quite have the upper body strength as much as the other girls in the class. So I got
Mm,
her. I got a pull. I have a pull up bar that I put in the door, and I got an assistance band to help her out. So I did help her, but when she got on using the band, she put her feet in there and she started doing all these half push ups, but a bunch of them real fast. And I stopped her. And I was like, "Nope, you're gonna do one perfect push up or pull up rather. And if you can
yeah.
do that, then we can move on to two perfect pull ups. I don't want these 15 half pull ups that are gonna hurt you." I said, "Take your time, keep your body right." And by telling her this and not doing it for her or allowing her to be doing the half a pull up, she's now up to 6 or 7 full pull ups. And
Mm,
last week in class, she did a flip. So
awesome.
yes, so she's getting better, and but I am giving her the tools that she needs to get better, but not doing it for her.
Nice. I
Yeah,
like it. I like it.
yeah. Thank you.
So when we were doing this research for responsibilities,
Yep.
um, we come across some tidbits. And one of them
Okay.
was say, let your kids choose their responsibility. And I told you, I was like, oh, I don't really do that. I have a website I go to. It's like How to Housewives.
Hmm.
Um, and I get a checklist how to
Okay.
clean each room in my house. And every week I go to my daughter and I say you get to choose what room you get to clean kind of deal. And it has to be clean with this checklist by the checklist kind of deal. I don't let her choose how. I don't be as picky as I used to be in the past, but it's still I let her choose what she wants, but I've heard that there was other ways of doing it. So,
Okay. So I don't let my daughter choose.
mm,
If she, if I gave her a choice or pick your chores, your responsibilities, she would have zero, and I would have all of them. So yes, but I have you have sent me the list from that website, and I have used
mm,
them. So she does have her chores that I have assigned that are what I believe within her capabilities. And I could be just being very easy, but they are. She has to load
mm.
and unload the dishwasher. She has to do her laundry. That means put it in the basket, bring it downstairs, put it in the washing machine, put it in the dryer, take it out, fold it, and put it away. And if I'm backed up with work or whatever I'm doing, and I ask her, she will do mine. She's not required to, but she will if I ask. And then she has to
Nice.
make her bed and clean her room.
Mm.
So, and she does them all pretty well, I'd say. So, Rob, have you ever let your daughter manage you for a day to make you the intern, so she could assign you tasks?
I don't really like her assign me task. I think the closest thing that I have done is I give her like responsibility of navigator in the car.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
I'll give her the phone and I said, "You find us how to get there and give me the directions." More because it's nice having the GPS, but it's
Hmm.
better to have somebody who's looking at the GPS going, "You're going to be turning up here very soon, so be prepared." Make
Ooh.
sure you're in the left lane. Be prepared. And so having her where she's researching gas stations or we need to get there. There's a detour. How do we get around the detour? If she's doing that, she gets to tell me what road we need to take, how we get there, etc., etc. So I kind of do let her be the navigator.
Okay.
I don't know if it's managed, but she's in charge of managing how we get there. So
Hmm. So, two things on that then. Number one, are you teaching her accountability and stuff with that, or are you training her to be a backseat driver?
I don't think I'm training her to be a backseat driver.
Okay.
I think it's more training her how to be responsible
Okay.
getting to a place. Accountability, I don't know because that's one where if we get lost, we get lost. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah,
Dad gets to drive a little bit more. It's not going to kill me nothing. So,
I hear you on that one. So
uh,
funny that talking about that with letting her help you drive or directions. I didn't think about the other day when we were prepping for this. But when I first got separated, I took my daughter. We went hiking in the woods, and it was
mm,
right after a snowstorm. It was not a serious hike. It was a very short hike, but it was woods, and the trails were covered in snow. So the trails were pretty much non-existent. And I remember pretending that I was lost and giving the impression that we could be stuck out here for a long time, and telling her I need help finding the car. We need to find
yeah,
this path and get back, or we're going to be in trouble. It's going to get dark, and it's already cold and icy. And
yeah.
she took that like a bull by the horns, and she started leading the way. She started
Mm,
looking for her footprints. She started looking for broken branches, and she got us back to the car. I knew the whole time
awesome.
where we were, but I let her think that she was in charge, and she did very, very well. I'm going to actually have to do that again this, well, I'd say this summer. There'll be no snow, but I'm going to do that again.
Take her
So
to a park, see if she'll do it. Yeah, yeah.
I can't tell her I'm doing that. I have to pretend I'm really lost.
Yeah, you could do that.
I think
You
if
you
I
could
was honest with her,
drive.
she wouldn't care as much.
You could drive somewhere and then just hand her the phone and say, "Hey, find out how to get home."
Mm, I might just do that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Another tidbit that I like this tip, but I've never used it is the responsibility jar. And I know you use
is that like a curse jar?
yeah, like a curse jar, but you fill it with different Chores. And I would imagine this would be more like if you had multiple kids and you needed they get to choose two chores a day and you could fill it full of chores, but that keeps it like random and it keeps different ones from constantly doing the same chore over and over again.
Okay.
That way, when whatever you pick out, you get a different chore. I can see that working with more than one kid for sure. So,
Right. Well,
um,
that's not the boat that I'm in. So,
yeah. So, um, eh, going off of a different topic though, do you think men are overparented or underfathered when it comes to responsibility and how it affects how we teach that to our kids?
um, yes, is my answer. I think that men today, like myself and you and people our age, they were overparented, but at the same time, they were underfathered.
Hmm.
And I don't blame like my dad for that. I can't imagine that you would blame your dad for that. It's just the way we were raised. We were raised by our parents because men worked. I mean, in my house, growing up, my mom worked as well, but my dad worked more.
Hmm.
And went to school, and our teachers were all females. I think I had one or two male teachers my entire life. So
Hmm.
we were definitely overparented and not quite fathered enough. And I think that is why we are in the boat we're in now.
Hmm.
We became nice guys because we were taught by women to please women, to do as we were told. And with that, you don't get a leader, you get a follower. And women want us to lead. That's our job. So when we're taught not to lead by women, we are underfathered but overparented. So my answer, in short, is yes. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually agree with you.
Okay.
To everything actually. So I
Good
don't
job.
have anything.
That was the right answer. Good job.
I don't have anything else to add actually. So you hit every point that I would have said. So
Gotcha. So a dad's responsibility doesn't just live inside the house. And I'm telling you that because as a father of divorce, when I have my daughter, it happened a lot more when she was younger, but we always had every Monday was date night. Me
mm,
and her, we would go out for a hot dog or a hamburger or a movie or walk just to talk and connect. Me and her, and that's it. No TV, no anything else going on. Me and her, we go out and we just talk. Of lately, I've been informed that she's too old for daddy daughter date night. So now it's father daughter outing or
mm.
something like that. But anyway, but I suggest that any father listening, number one, I'm going to suggest that he gets that level up for dads. Number two, to look into taking his kids or kid on a date. Even if it's a boy, it's his son. It's not a date like a romantic date. It's just quality one-on-one time. Whether you're going to the grocery store together or you're connecting in nature, whatever you're doing, to spend that quality time one-on-one.
Well, that's the other thing is that's how you build good relationships.
Yeah.
Is taking the time to spend that quality time.
But who told you that? How do you know that?
I had to learn it the hard way.
Right. So
Yeah.
now that you just said it, that's our job to build that quality relationship. I recall now having catches with my old man, throwing the ball around. He used to take me and my brother to every single Saturday home game for the New York Mets. And there were times it was April, it was cold. I didn't want to go. I was told I had to
Mm,
go. Which, looking back on it, that's crazy. I would have taken the opportunity to go to every baseball game that I could possibly go to. But that was my dad building a bonding moment. And that
mm.
didn't, my child brain did not catch on to that. But looking back on it, and that's why I throw the ball with my daughter in the parking lot over here. And I take her to ball games, whether they're Mets games or Red Sox games or whatever, I don't care. I spend that quality time with her.
Yeah.
So, so important.
Well, one of the things I do is I go grocery shopping with my daughter.
Okay.
And we go every week. I have her. We go there and we spend a couple hours just going up and down every aisle, whether we're going to buy something in the aisle or not. We just go walking and talking, and it feels like our tradition is just
Okay.
walking up and down the aisles to see what do we need, what we don't need, and we don't rush. It's not like, oh, hurry, 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 go get the groceries and get back so we get out of here.
That's
It's
amazing.
more like just take your time, enjoy the walk. So. Yeah.
Just think, how are you going to feel when you're 20 years older than you are now and you see your daughter walking up and down the aisles with her kid?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to feel knowing that you started that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like full circle. That's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just think it's a beautiful thing. We doing these things, whether they're new traditions that we started or there's something from our parents, our past, or whatever. The moment that I get to see my daughter or that you get to see your daughter doing this stuff with their kids, that's like, I don't know, it kind of warms my heart a little bit, a lot of it actually.
So, off the topic, just a hair, then
Yep.
we'll get back on. There was a question at church, and they wanted a video about what's the best thing about being a dad.
Okay.
And I recorded my video, and I said the feeling when the one you see the what was it? Uh, Watching someone you love grows into their own person, and it's that's the best thing I love about being a dad because it's like watching my child reminds me of how God watches over us and his patience with us and slowly guiding us until we realize, oh yeah, we're growing in to do our own stuff kind of deal.
Yeah.
So it is very heartfelt, like, oh wow, it's the same thing generation upon generation. Being that
Yeah.
dad is watching kids grow up to be their own people. So
So on that note, I'm glad you went off topic because I'm going to go off
uh,
topic on that topic. So my phone is getting full. I got a message saying that it's not going to update because of all the pictures. So I
mm,
deleted a bunch of screenshots and then I was looking at the videos and I found a video of, I found a lot of videos, but I found a video of my daughter that I took making a homemade volcano in my old apartment, my little tiny ass 1 bedroom apartment that slanted so bad that you couldn't drop anything off the kitchen table; it would roll into the counter. Crazy place. But she made this little volcano, and it blew up in her face, and she was like, "I think I got vinegar in my mouth." But her voice was so cute and little, and I sent it to her, and she was like, "Oh, my voice!" I'm like, "It's wonderful." And then there was another video of when I taught her how to ride a bike, and she went down this hill and through a puddle, and it's just incredible because she couldn't do those things, and I
yeah.
taught her, and now she does them with no problem. And I don't know that she recalls or remembers the moment that she figured it out. That light went off, and she's like, "I got this,"
Mm,
and I see it, and I love it, and that is my favorite part about being a dad.
awesome.
So, yes. So, Rob, what is the responsibility that you carry as a man and a father that your child doesn't see, but shapes everything?
I think we talk about it every week, every day on these podcasts, and it is values.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure where you're going until you said every week, every day. Then you said on the podcast. Absolute values for sure.
Because she may see some values, but some values, it's just that's how I live my life. And even other people don't see it until you know that that's a value you're living by. I'm trying to think what's the book? The Four Agreements.
I knew you
Be
were going to do it.
impeccable with your word.
You should just post that next to your computer screen so you don't have to look
I'm gonna get
around.
a poster. Yeah, I'm
There you
gonna get a
go.
poster.
You probably have a 6 foot poster of Don Miguel Ruiz over your bedroom door or something.
But anyways, it isn't that I don't think she sees it that I work hard to live by values. Is I think she's not mature enough to understand that these values are so important to live by. And I don't think she will until she gets to a point in her life where she needs to start understanding what values she wants in her life. and then she'll look back like you did on your dad and say, "Oh wow, he lived by values. I can't believe that," kind of deal, or "I want to live like my dad did."
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Actually, we might have to cut some of this short because I'm going to throw in another little bonus thing based on
All
values of my
right.
daughter. And I want to ask you your opinion because I forgot.
All right.
So she had some trouble with a girl at school 6 months ago or so. And the girl still bullies her a little bit. Anyway, this girl just lost all of her friends the other day by saying something stupid.
Mm.
And my daughter was very happy that this girl just
Mm.
lost all of her friends. And I said, "Why are you happy?" She goes, "Because she deserves it." I said, "Does she deserve it?" She goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay, she might deserve it, but why would you be happy for her misfortune?" I said, "Why are you not empathetic or sympathetic toward that?" She goes, "Because she hurt me."
Mm.
So I was like, interesting. I was like, plenty of people have hurt me, but it takes a lot. And I couldn't do it at her age, but
Mm.
it takes a lot. But I have to find the forgiveness. I have to accept my portion of what happened and move forward, you know? So I said, you should not, and I told her, I understand why she feels like she does. I said, but it's really important to move forward and to, either feel bad or feel sympathetic or more understanding than thankful or happy that this girl has lost all of her friends. And
Mm.
those, well, I don't know what value. I guess that would be the value of empathy. I'm assuming, right?
It's more like
Or forgiveness,
sympathy. Yeah. But
sympathy, empathy, forgiveness, acceptance, all of those. But yeah,
uh,
I hope that my conversation with her taught her that, so that, and she's going to have her moment where she's happy that this girl screwed up.
mhm.
And I get it. I get it. But I'm hoping that I have taught her enough that she will find those values and find a way to let all this go and live her life and not worry about this other girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, no values. There
Yeah.
we go.
Well, you kind of answered the next question of like, how do you teach values? Because that's exactly how you teach them is modeling them. So,
I guess I didn't go off track then. Good for me. Yay.
hey, you didn't go off too bad. So,
All right.
um, uh,
So I have a question for you then, since I've already answered the other question. How do
yeah,
you help your daughter move from being told what to do to owning it? So instead of being told to do this, she knows to do this.
I think it's happened, but the it's hard. It's
Okay.
kind of like, it's kind of like, how are you told that you need to grow? It has to be painful enough for you to change. You have to be educated enough for you to want to change. Or what's the other one? There has to be something in your life that kind of says, if I change or if I start doing it, it will make my life better.
Hmm. It might be uncomfortable, but it might get better. But it will hopefully get
Yeah,
better.
hopefully get better. Or if I start doing this, my dad will not yell at me more. Or if I do this, XYZ. Or if I do this, I'll feel good about myself. You see?
Okay. Sure.
Um, uh, to how would you have handled it?
Um, how I handle my daughter moving to doing her own thing.
Hey, brother, take your
Yeah.
hand and go to your camera and come back out.
Wow, it got blurry, huh? What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know what you did. Slow. Don't go so fast.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, I guess it'll be blurry me. Whatever. We're almost done here. Wow, it's really
Yeah.
weird though, right? I don't even want to look at it now.
It's very blurry. You could be upfront and personal with it. There it goes. It fixed.
Okay, yeah. Wow, that's weird, huh? So my daughter says to me a lot that I don't want you to get mad. So that's why she starts doing things. But the funny thing is, after she does what she's gonna do on her own, because she doesn't want me to get mad, I always say to her, I'm like, how often do I get mad? But I don't. I mean, I did before this work. Before I started really, getting in touch with my emotions and developing my emotional intelligence. And you like that? Sounded all
Yes.
fancy. Um, but yeah, I had anger issues. But as far as she knows, or as far as she's been around, I don't get mad. I am disappointed at times, but I don't get mad. I very, very rarely raise my voice. But yet she still says that. And then she goes back, she's like, well, mom gets really mad. You don't really get mad, but I don't want to upset you. And really, I think she means disappoint me. Because if she doesn't do
Mm.
what I've been asking, I do get disappointed. So I think after so many times of not doing it, she's finally caught on, and now she owns her chores or whatever she's going to do. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I
So,
got.
what is one responsibility you wanted to learn sooner when you were a kid that you kind of wish you had learned? How are you teaching that to your kid?
All right. The best I have is money. I wish
Yeah.
I learned financial stuff earlier. And am I teaching it to my kid? No. Am I
No.
trying to? Yes. So with her allowance, and I got this from you, I think actually, if she earns $20, I take $4 or $5 away, and I put it into a
Mm.
different jar. So it's still hers, but she cannot have that. It's like tax. And I try to explain to her, I make this much money every 2 weeks, but I said this portion of it goes to the mortgage. Let's start from the top. This portion goes to the Uncle Sam. Then this portion goes to the mortgage. This portion goes to the electric bill. This portion goes to the food that we eat, and then gas in my car and insurance. I said what's left is like a nickel, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not ready for that. She got very upset. What? I did those chores. Why can't I have all that money? And I'm like, what do I say to that? I mean, she did do her chores. I don't know why I got to pay taxes and pay bills, but I can't cry about it.
Well, it's part of responsibility, part of
Yeah,
living in the, yeah.
yeah. But I guess, all right. So then, if I could touch one more thing on that, I would say the other thing that I wish I learned was emotional responsibility, and that's another thing that we
Mm.
go over all the time. Um, when we sit down for eating, we talk about what we're feeling. We talk about, like Jeff Allen had taught me about the boardroom. So all your feelings are in this boardroom, and you talk about them. Because if you don't, they leave the meeting, they go to the basement, they work out, and they get very angry, and they come back stronger than ever. So we discuss
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And you actually introduced her to the color wheel, which I'm not a fan of,
Yes.
but she loves it. She loves it, especially when you ask her questions about what color is she feeling. So
Yes.
I think she's a lot more emotionally intelligent at her age than I ever was.
Well, most of the time I have found that guys weren't taught that when we were kids anyways. I'll give you a reason to cry kind of
Yeah,
deal if you're still crying versus why are you crying? What are you feeling inside? That type. So to, she probably is a lot more emotionally intelligent than we were. So,
I don't even want to say what would happen to us if we were kids and we were
yeah.
in touch with our feelings right now. Bad things. The schools would convince us that we were not what we were supposed to be or some crap.
Yep.
So anyway, that's a wrap on today's episode, guys. So responsibility isn't just about being perfect. It's about showing up together. So I want to challenge all the dads that are listening or that hear this. First challenge, go get your level up dad packet. It's free. Take advantage of this. Number one, that's number one. Number two, plan one responsibility or adventure this weekend. Father's Day is coming up. Let your child lead, own the task, and take charge, and let them take charge of something for you.
Oh, and tag us at Living by Oak Values and tell us what you and your kid did to step up. Um, Let us know what you think. Give us an idea of what something you would like to talk about on the episode.
Sounds good. And this week, don't just live by Oak values. Reach out for us. We have one-on-one sessions, and we are here to help you master your emotions and your emotional game. So catch us on YouTube or follow me, the Superior Mailman, on TikTok for more wisdom and real talk.
Oh, and plus, join our men's group every
Oh yeah.
Thursday at 7 Eastern Time for our 1 hour event. It's on our website under the events tab. We dive deep and we talk about life's up and down together. And we'd love to have you at the table.
Motivated Men, it's called. So when you click
Motivated
events and see
men.
Motivated
Yes.
Men,
Yeah.
click on that. That's
That's
what you'll see. Anyway, so big
that's
things are coming to. What was that?
that's what I was trying to think of.
Oh,
I was
you're
like,
good.
man.
You're good. It's all good, brother. So big things are coming to Living by Oak Values. We have new episodes, bold guests. We say that every week, but we haven't had a bold guest or guest for that matter, but whatever. Deeper conversations, plus more live shows and real-time chat. If you have a story, and we know you do, or a value that has changed your life, we want to hear it. This next chapter is about you. Let's make it unforgettable. Until then, keep embracing your values and stay authentic.